Real estate agents, these 5 mistakes in lead conversion most likely are costing you listings and money. And it's not your fault because no one has ever taught you or showed you how to really go about the lead conversion when it comes to paid ads, as well as how to fix these mistakes. Even when getting quality leads, most agents fail to convert them due to these mistakes, which are draining your commissions even when they are entirely preventable. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Eetu. I'm the founder and CEO at Mescoola, a real estate growth agency that's revolutionizing the way how realtors acquire listings by implementing the AI-enhanced value-first online listing acquisition system. And on this channel, I'll show agents who are closing 6 to 15 plus deals per year and are stuck at around 100,000 plus in commissions per year and really want to double, triple, even quadruple their business. I'll show them how to build predictable and scalable listing acquisition systems so that you can close 10, 15, 20 plus or more listings per year and eventually get to 7 figures. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back, thank you, and let's dive in. So today I'm going to reveal the 5 most common mistakes in lead conversion and how to avoid them. But before I do, just to show you guys that the stuff we're about to go over does work. Here's just a few of our clients. Here you can see Michael. When I first started with Mescoola, I was very skeptical to say at least. Now just 4 months in, I was awarded top sales agent for both my office and my brokerage. I would most definitely not have been able to achieve this if it wasn't for Mescoola. Here's Luke. Hope everyone is killing it. I went live 2 weeks ago and wanted to share a few wins. On my second day, I booked 3 in-person appointments from 3 calls. Since then, I have booked 4 more in-persons for a total of 7. And then Stephanie is saying here, as long as you follow the formula, it works. Jonathan, second Mescoola listing going live within 48 hours. George, in the last 4 weeks, I managed to close 6 deals, 3 more on the way firming up. 9 deals, 4 weeks, 2 deals per week. Make the damn phone call. 2 list agreements signed this week, $470,000 and $630,000 homes. Let's keep it coming. And then I'm asking, okay, how many signed? 7 listings so far and 3 to 4 currently in pipeline. So really cool stuff. William made some minor changes, got 6 appointments booked in the last 5 weeks and 2 listings. Let's go. 12 listings sold in 12 months. Second Mescoola listing signed, $825,000. 15 listings in 12 months. 6 listings, $6 million listings in 6 months. And 220,000 GCI in 12 months with Mescoola. And this is just to name a few. We have hundreds of other agents over here if you want to check out more, just to show you guys that it does work. Now, the 5 most common mistakes that people do, that agents do when it comes to lead conversion. Number 1, slow response time that you let leads go cold. This is super common. Now, people think that you can just wait for 10 minutes, for 2 hours, for a day to actually pick up the phone and call the lead that comes in and still expect the same end result. That's not true. You have to be able to, or someone from your team or your systems need to be able to actually contact the leads in the first 30 seconds when they come in. That's just the truth. If you contact after 5 minutes, your chances of getting them on to the next step drops by 800%. There's the statistic of that and the study. Number 2, overly generic follow-up messages fail to engage. People are sending some random stuff that actually doesn't get anyone to engage and doesn't convert, just wanting and trying to do something because they don't know actually what to do. Number 3, ignoring data that could refine your approach. Okay, so data and tracking is important. If you do not track, you don't know what's going on. So if you actually want to know what you should be doing or where the gaps are in your process, you must be tracking. Data and tracking is important. Once you do that, you are able to make database decisions and not just like random feeling based emotional decisions on like how things are going. You have to be focusing on data and tracking. Number 4, not nurturing leads long enough to build trust. People think that when you get a lead, they should be, signing up in the first week, month, 3 months. And even when people are saying, agents are saying that, no, I'm not expecting that, but they still actually are expecting it for some weird reason. So you have to be able to have systems that are nurturing your leads long enough to actually build trust. And then number 5, lacking a consistent process for converting leads into listings. So actually having a process that's consistent, that's predictable, predictable, that's scalable to convert leads into listings. So from opt-in to a conversation, to an appointment, to a presentation, to a listing site, and then eventually to closing, right? So you have to have a consistent, proven, scalable, predictable process to get them from step to another step until they actually close, right? So how do we solve those, and what is the process you should have and build, whether it's like working with us or building this to yourself? Now, let's talk about the A&C process. So everything we do, as I said at the beginning, is focusing on the value first online listing acquisition system. And the way how we do it is through the A&C method, right? A&C, attraction, let me just write it again. Nurture, convert. So A&C, pretty simple, right? Attraction is all about the ads, is all about the paid ads, right? Nurture is all about what happens right after a lead comes in, and how do we get them first off to engage with us and have a conversation over SMS, email, or phone call, and then how do we actually conduct the phone call, get them from that initial engagement to actually scheduling a consultation with us. And then also that includes obviously like long-term nurturing process and all that good stuff when it comes to follow-up, all that. And then convert, how do we actually convert someone from when we get them on the phone conversation, how do we convert those to in-person appointments to listing presentations, etc., and how do we go about that process? The convert piece, even though it's kind of under the nurturing, the convert piece also includes calling the opt-in leads and being able to get more of those into actual conversations and those into in-person appointments. So like there's a specific way how you need to approach online leads in order to convert more and more of those, right? So the process has to be done correctly. Now, the actual process, there's more videos going more in depth into this. However, here's what it looks like. So attraction piece, obviously, we have the actual ad. So we have the ad and we drive them to a survey page. And from that survey page, once they submit the survey, they become a lead. Okay. And then from there, we drive those leads into a booking page. So calendar page. So this whole thing is what we call the call booking funnel, right? So that's what we focus on. So this is the actual attraction piece. This is the pros. This is how we get them into our world. This is how we're able to get those contacts so that we can actually start building the relationships. Now, just so you know, not everyone will book from this page. Hence why we need the nurturing piece. So the nurturing piece is where we have SMS and phone call AI, as well as a email campaigns. Okay, so all of those on the short term is tailored to get the actual appointment phone consultation set. So all the leads that are coming in, they are getting contacted by SMS AI, and then with some of our customers we also have incorporated voice AIs, and we kind of like building more and more of those systems. However, with the SMS AI, that is pretty much enough already in order to increase the conversions. And then we obviously need to have manual phone calls, so actually having a human calling through those campaigns, and we recommend it being the agent, and then eventually hiring out and recruiting and hiring an ISA into your team, and then training them up to your process. But basically the nurturing piece is this. So we have the short-term and long-term SMS and email campaigns, as well as then AI incorporated into SMS, and with some customers we also do voice AIs, and that's something that we are starting to recommend more and more because it's getting better and better and better. And then that also is designed to get more of those phone consultations set. So basically the key there in this process is to tailor everything for the one conversion event. So in this case, it's the getting the phone consultation booked, right? Because that's I'm gonna be going to the conversion piece in a minute here, but that is the conversion mechanism when it comes to the value first online listing acquisition system. It is the 7-minute phone consultation that we're gonna have have as an agent with these people, and then those turn into in-person appointments. So like that's why, because knowing the goal in mind, then we design the other steps in the actual acquisition process. And obviously our goal is to acquire more listings, is to get more listings signed that will eventually close, and that way we make more money, we build a business, and we serve more people and all that good stuff. In order to get listings, we need presentations, we need in-person appointments, we need conversations, and we need leads. So the most simple and streamlined process to do that is actually to do this process, right? So how I like to think of it is like, okay, what is the easiest and most simple way to get someone from actually seeing our stuff introduced to us and into our world, and from there to the next step that I need in order to, you know, get the business and help them. And that is actually having conversations and actually meeting people and building those relationships. That's why we have designed the whole process with that sole intent, with that sole goal. It's like, okay, we have the goal, which is the listing. It's the listing. And in order to do that, we need in-person appointments, we need convos, conversations, and we need leads. So obviously, what's the easiest way to get these in-person appointments set and actually meet with people to build those relationships? And then based on that, we tailor and design the conversation step. And based on that, we design, okay, how do we actually generate these leads in order for us to get those conversations that will lead us to getting more in-person appointments. So it's always like knowing the goal, knowing the end, like the end outcome, and then reverse engineering back, right? And the process. That's what we do. That's how we do it. That's why we do it. Okay. So that's why we have the cold booking funnel, because it's the most simple, it's the easiest to scale, it's the most predictable, it's the most consistent funnel to actually have. Now, obviously, how to build that funnel, what the funnel actually is, there's some videos going over in that, but it's just too much, and it's really a secret thing for us, like how do we do that and what it looks like and all the good stuff. So if you want us to build one for yourself, or you want to learn more in depth, then click on the link in the description. There's a link that goes into this page. Okay, there's a video, either myself or a VP, going over the Value First online listing acquisition system, the results it's getting, and 2 reasons why it works so damn well right now. And then once you watch that, you can schedule an interview and check out if we could potentially help you out to build one for yourself into your business, and that will help you double, triple, or even quadruple your business and production, and help more people. So that's how you can get us to build it for you and learn a bit more. But this is kind of what the process looks like, right? So attraction, nurture, and then convert. So the convert piece here, so this is the attraction, this is the nurture, and then the convert piece really is the 7-minute phone consult, right? So this is the first step on the conversion piece, really. Or I would say second step, because the first step relates to the nurture. The first step would be to also call those opt-in leads that need a bit of more personalization and more humanization and follow-up, right? So getting those from there. But this is the second step, really, to actually get them on the phone and having that 7-minute phone consultation. Because this is also the biggest bottleneck that we see with agents, is like once they get someone on the phone, when it comes to paid leads, online leads, they don't really know how to conduct the call, because they've been used to working with referrals, sphere of influence, maybe leads from Zillow, which also different, and then also some people may be used to like organic content, so getting inbound leads from their content on Instagram Reels, etc., which are also different. So all of these sources are different, and you need to talk with them differently. You need to approach them differently. So these are what I like to call the middle funnel leads, and that's how you need to talk with them, like you would talk into a middle funnel lead. So that's pretty much it. So getting them to a phone consult, that you then from there get to the in-person appointments, right? And from there to a listing. So that's what we teach when it comes to our support calls, coaching calls, live calls, call reviews, live dials, all that stuff. That's what we focused on. It's like, okay, how can we get more conversations? How can we turn more of those conversations into actual in-person appointments? And then eventually, how can we turn more of those in-person appointments into listings? And that is also what you should be focusing on when it comes to the actual acquisition process and funnel, even if you wouldn't be working with us, even if you would be just building this for yourself, or you working with someone else. Those are the things and steps you need to really be focusing on and nailing down in order to do that. Now, if this is the process, and I said earlier that one of the things that people are, like the mistake they are doing, is ignoring data that could refine your approach. And basically what I mean by this is like, okay, we have all these different steps, and then if we're just like, we're not getting conversions, we're not getting listings, and then we're just saying like, oh, it doesn't work. Then the question is, okay, what does not work? Because there's multiple steps in the process. What are the things, what are the steps that we have gaps that are not working at the level they should or could, and then focusing on those and fixing that constraint, and then going to the next constraint. Because it's not black and white that it just doesn't work. It's just like, okay, what if the steps in the process doesn't work? And then for some weird reason, people tend to think that when they are not getting conversions, they blame the ad because the ad is whatever. So that's just not true. In most cases. Some cases it is. However, we need to understand the metrics. We need to understand the process, because if it's not working, we have to figure out why. And once we do that, then we can actually dive in, fix it, solve it, and get to the next level and actually crack the code. So the metrics that I need you to really focus on, the key metrics are cost per lead, lead to conversation rate, and then obviously conversation to in-person appointments, and then in-person appointment to listing rate. Right? So cost per lead, what the KPI for us is $30. So when you're running a seller campaigns, we're looking at $30 cost per leads, okay? And then the lead to conversation should be somewhere around 33%, and conversation to in-person appointment about 30%, which these will come to about 10%. So to make your life easier, you could always just be looking at, okay, lead to in-person appointments, and that is 10%. So if you want to keep your life easy, just focus on that number and things will get easier for you. Right, so that's that. And then in person to listing, 20%. And I know there are people who like, I'm closing 80% of the people that I'm meeting with. That may be true. Most cases it's even not true, but that may be true. If it is true, then most likely you're not meeting enough. You're not meeting enough people. Because if you are closing 80% or 100% of your people, most likely you are just meeting with people from referrals, sphere of influence, all the good stuff. But if you really want to scale, then you need to be able to talk with and meet with more people, because the more people, even though the conversion number will drop down, your end result will actually increase just because of the volume. Now, you do need to do more work in that sense, but at the same time, if you do want to build a real business, if you do want to build a big business, and you do want to actually drive impact and make a lot of money and eventually build that freedom business, you do need to go through the season. It's a season, right? And also at the same time, this is just like a KPI. We have agents who are doing 50%, 60%, but yeah, it really depends on that sense as well. However, normally at the beginning, when we're getting started with people, this is what we focus on. Okay, like let's just first get the basics done and the basic metrics and the averages, and then let's focus on like, okay, how can we actually increase that? But yes, these are the metrics. Now, technically, if we look at the cost per lead, lead to convo, all that stuff, basically cost per conversation should in that case be around $90, and then cost per in-person appointment around $300, and then cost per acquisition around $1,500. In some markets obviously more, etc., but that's pretty much what we see for the cost per acquisition to be, right? So once you get a listing signed, acquired, then you have most of the cases, once you nail this down with these metrics, you have spent $1,500 to acquire that, which is actually not that crazy, because if you're getting let's say 10k commission from that, it's not that crazy. Yes, you have expenses. We all know that. Every single business out there has expenses. But if you want to build a business, you need to be able to use money to acquire customers. Just to put that out there. Now, it's actually not that crazy. Basically on gross commission income level, so like revenue gross level, not net, but gross level, you're seeing it around like just under 10x returns on that, which is pretty freaking cool if you're getting that number. Now, obviously depends on your commissions and all the good stuff. Now, those are the numbers. How much ad spend do you need to actually acquire a certain amount of listings? So let's say that you are right now doing 10 listings per year. You want to double that. So you want to do 20 listings per year. So you need to add 10 more per year. Let's just actually make this even easier for me to calculate. So let's just say that you want to add on extra 12 per year, okay? Extra 12 listings per year. Now, in order to understand how much ad spend we need, knowing the metrics, this is the math. So we want 12 listings. So we want to divide that by 20%, which is going to give us how many in-person appointments we need. So we need 60 in-person appointments per year in order to do that. If we divide that by 10%, because lead to in-person was 10%, then that will give us how many leads we need. And obviously that means we need 600 leads in order to make 12 listings, add on 12 listings per year. Now, if we divide 600 by 12, we get 50 leads per month. So 50 leads per month, and then 60 divided by 12 is 5 per month, and that will lead us to 1 per month in listings. So leads, in-person appointments, listings on a monthly basis. Those are the numbers that we should be looking at when it comes to, okay, I want to add on this. And just to tell you, that's not even crazy. That's pretty normal. That's average. That's what you can do. So our average client who used to be doing 6 to 15 deals per year before started working with us and coming to work with us, they adding on an extra 10 listings per year and 127,000 in gross commissions per year extra. So that is just not crazy. That's highly possible to do. And that's, by the way, with like $900 per month ad spend. And here we technically talking about $1,500 per month ad spend. So with that being said, adding an extra 12 per year is not that hard. It's pretty actually simple through the correct and proven system and acquisition channel. So if you are right now doing 10, 12, 15 per year and you want to get past that, you want to really double that and get to the next level, you can do it with this system. You can do it with this process. It's pretty simple. We just need to nail down the basics. Right. So if you want to learn how to do this and more in depth, get us build the Value First online listing acquisition system for you, then click on the link below. It will direct you to this page. There's a video where either myself or our VP goes more in depth this system as well as the results it's getting, and also 2 reasons why it works so damn well. Now, once you watch that and you were like, I want to see how we could customize this for my business, for my situation, where I'm looking to go, then schedule an interview below. We're gonna walk you through a game plan and see if it makes sense for you or not. If not, no worries. If yes, cool. We're gonna talk about how that would look like and the next steps, and then we're gonna go from there. But that's pretty much it. Click the link, go check it out, and if nothing else, click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.